Yeah, this could go either way.
Yeah, really, I have no comfort in calling either one of them a favorite, really. Well, it looks like we're getting started here. Bombs in the first chest is a nice thing to see. It means they'll be able to get the stock from escape without having to farm for bombs.
Yeah, there's a spot where you bomb the wall, get 3 chests. It's nice to have access to that early on. You can come back and get it, but it's a bit of a time loss that way.
You need more items to get in after the first time.
Yeah, and plus it's just weighing on your mind while you're doing the escape. Like, do I kill this enemy? Do I not? Which ones do I? And now you just don't have to worry about any of it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy to forget as well. Oh, Eunos with his trademark chroma key.
That's right. We're going to be seeing a glimpse of what might be lurking in the background there.
Which color is it? It's like some shade of blue or something. He got keyed out.
Yep. It seems to be nicely attuned to just light-colored water in this game. So early on here, players finding the tempered sword. This is a heck of a pickup for the first chest. Or second chest, I guess.
Yeah, this is gonna make, if they had to farm for bombs, it would make it a lot easier. 1 slash is a lot better than going out of your way to kill enemies with 2 or 3. But they don't have to do that. But it will make the required kills and escape a lot faster. There's going to be 3 enemies in the first in the castle section that they have to kill. Actually 4, and then 1 in the sewers. Only one of them is going to take more than 1 hit with a sword, and it's only going to take 2 hits. And that's the ball and chain soldier.
Yep, we might not even see pots from players who usually throw pots, but I guess 1 pot, 1 slash. I don't know.
It'd be a good option.
Depends on your heart situation, perhaps, when you get there. Both players at 2.5 so far, looking pretty good.
Yeah, and both are pretty competent players mechanically. They're not going to worry too much about dying here, even without this sword.
Eunos went for the spin on the guard, even though Symbol Slash would have taken him out with the tempered sword. And the book early on. Interesting. And with the sword too, they can check tablets as soon as they get there.
Yeah. The book is kind of a strange early game item to get because it does open up access to some new locations, but it opens up like desert where you won't be able to full clear without other items. And you may not need to go to desert anyway. So while it does open up the game a little bit, it does it in kind of a strange way.
Yeah, and the tablets are not easily accessible without other items as well.
Right.
You can check that Master Sword pedestal though.
Oh yeah. I don't think either one's gonna go straight there unless they're just unless they're gonna do it for us.
I don't know. So here's the thing. If that pedestal has a key item, you check it and your opponent does, that can be just straight up game-winning information.
It really could. The odds of it are, what, like 3%, I think has been calculated.
Yeah, but like how many seconds is it? I guess it's a good number of seconds to go all the way over there and check it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a treat from one of these guys.
Honestly, I think it's better if they don't. We just know they have the potential to check it, but they haven't. What is it? Keep us in suspense. That's the true way to go.
Yeah, Stephen King style.
That's right. That's what I was going for. Tairr just taking out some of these guards in his way. Eunos opted to snake in between them. He's a little bit ahead here. Just some movement optimizations.
There's some annoying enemy RNG in Escape where a lot of different enemies can get in your way, especially in sewers. And in normal run, you have the boomerang. You can quickly stun them to get them out of your way, whereas a sword wouldn't kill them in 1 hit. But if the sword does kill them in 1 hit, it has a better area of effect, so it's a more useful weapon, I think. So they may opt for that instead of dodging.
Trying to nail a rat with a pot there from a fair ways away is Eunos.
Pots are a very effective weapon. Against most enemies, they're about the same strength as the tempered sword, so you have access to them early. In general combat, they're quite strong. That's why they're a popular weapon to use against the ball and chain guard.
Also, their hitbox is like really generous. You can hit things where you really wouldn't think it would make contact, but it does.
It's in a little. I think it's the windfish, right?
No, you spoiled it. They weren't gonna get a good. All right, well, I was in the dark too, so you could only see parts of it, right? And I was like, "Oh, what is it? Did you catch it?" mystery destroyed. Clearly, you're not a fan of Stephen King.
Yep. I let go the suspense angle.
It is indeed the windfish hiding back there in his background. And someone on commentary last time did the sound that the windfish makes.
Oh,
and like they nailed it. Oh my god! Okay, well, it was awesome. Bow and bottle found.
Nice.
This is.
That means there's at least one more thing you can do if you go to Kakariko Town right away. Eunos, I think I recall him not going straight to Kakariko in a previous race. I haven't seen enough of his runs to know if he has like a characteristic style. Maybe with the bottle, that'll be a little bit more motivation to go there first.
Well, he's somewhat new to A Link to the Past compared to some of the other people in the tournament, but he is a veteran of Zelda 1 and Zelda 1 Randomizer, so I won't be surprised to see that he's able to think on his feet a little bit here, and with that bottle and a couple of bombs in hand, Kakariko really seems like the way to go. I think I saw a pendant Eastern Palace there.
Yeah, green pendant at Eastern and a crystal at Hera. Didn't see which crystal though.
I think it was 5, so that's interesting.
Nice. Yeah, Eunos, as you were saying, he's actually a very competitive player in Zelda 1 speedrunning. He has a competitive time in multiple categories, including the top time in at least one. And randomizer experience in that game as well.
The players have kind of synced up here.
Yeah, Tairr, I guess, made up a little bit of time by not looking at the map.
And then perfect synchronization heading into the cave. I didn't catch that. They did, because they both left, but...
I saw a little bit of green.
I thought I saw gold, like I was like, was it a coin? Bombos? Chat caught it.
How did they tell? Okay.
Maybe it comes in clearer on the mainstream than it does on the commentary viewer. But, not actually collecting bombos.
Right. Well...
Just getting that information.
Yeah, they can't get it just yet, and we don't know if they're going to need it just yet. My television actually cuts off the top and bottom pixels, so I have to walk down those stairs to see that item, so everybody on stream gets a real good look at it.
That sucks as a player, being forced into a time loss due to physical hardware. Yeah, I guess it's a thing in a lot of other games. We're fortunate to be able to play Link to the Past competitively on multiple different platforms. I love the synchronization between these two players going strong through Lost Woods. Eunos finally stepping out just a tiny bit ahead.
Yeah, 2 bombs will get them through these first 2 areas that they're going to search, the cave and this house here. They're going to want to find a few more to get into the next few areas. A lot of chests and a lot of chances for some bombs here. Oh, there you go.
Yep. And then an upgrade to avoid future bomb shortages. Both players looking great in that aspect.
So I don't have quite enough rupees to purchase the item from the bottle salesman. There's almost enough underpots for them to get up to that amount, but not quite enough.
Eunos also has an extra 10 over Tairr that could end up being the difference between checking this merchant now and being forced to come back later.
Yeah, I think I've even seen players skip it even when they have enough rupees, just so that they'll be able to get to Zora quicker. Don't know if I'd always agree with that decision. But there's likely that you're going to have to come back to town later anyway. It's one of the places that you're very likely to have to make more than one trip to, even with very good routing.
There's 20.
Yeah, Eunos will be able to get
5 more, yep.
And Tairr's going to be short by 4.
Oh, I was right! Oh man, that sucks. Alright, we'll see if he can find 4 rupees somewhere. We're also going to see what this merchant has, if it is a key item, if it could...
Okay.
Well, that's still going to be bothering Tairr, though. Like, if he finds more rupees somewhere else in Kakariko, he's going to go up there and check, and it's going to cost him just a tiny little bit of time.
That's right. Nice chicken clip.
Yep, perfect. Back in synchronization.
Ooh,
and then, oh, Tairr, you ruined it. Got caught on nothing there. Just, oh.
Not a lot of items that have opened up a lot of new locations just yet. So the standard locations are still the ones that they have available to them.
Yeah, that bow, though I guess it's Green Pendant in Eastern Palace, so maybe don't really want to go that way. You can check out some of Desert, but like we said, it's a gamble because you cannot complete that dungeon, and sometimes you can't even get very far at all without the boots.
Yeah. Yeah, the boots are required for a single item location in Desert, which could have a small key or a big key, which could hinder you from progressing in that dungeon.
Nothing waiting for them in the library. Both players are going to have a quick check at the race game. Eunos is going to jump down.
Yeah, a lot of people like to check what the item is first, just in case it's not something they want, they can go ahead and just leave.
I assume both players are going to be heading down to Lake Hylia, hit up the mini Moldorm cave. That is the main purpose to go that way, but you can also check the dam. You can do some fake flippers and check Lake Hylia and the Hobo, or if you want, you can throw in that check to the Ice Rod. It's a pretty long detour and kind of deadly. Actually, there's crabs that do a lot of damage along the way, but it is an option.
Really overpowered enemies for the early game, in a lot of people's opinion. Those crabs are.
Checking the chests in the dam here in different orders.
Yeah, it's nice to see them do it slightly differently. Give us a better idea of what's actually more efficient for people who haven't timed it out themselves.
Yeah, these two players have proven they're quite evenly matched in terms of just moving around the map, so this is actually a pretty good indicator.
Yeah, Eunos maintaining just a couple second lead here with one more location check, technically.
Ooh, he is off to Desert?
Yeah, I think he will. Be able to check a few locations. He'll be able to get the Desert Ledge, Agana, and at least a couple places. Well, I guess at least one place inside a desert.
Would you call this a gamble?
I wouldn't call it a gamble, but I wouldn't say it's the best decision. If there's other good locations to check, you don't want to go somewhere that has prerequisites that you don't yet fulfill. So if Tairr can maybe find boots or gloves or something here that would allow him to do more of Desert at a later time, that might be a better option.
Agnes Cave, one of the few places you can check, only has 20 rupees. Tairr finding lots of good stuff in the mini Moldorm Cave.
Man.
Boots, hook shot, red mail.
Red mail. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was that's a good advantage for Tairr there.
Yeah, now to be fair, this is a place that Eunos is going to check.
Oh yeah, very soon.
Very, yes. So,
but if he does, the worst case for Eunos would be seeing a very good item on the torch in Desert, not being able to get it and having to come back with the boots. And worse even than that would be if they had to end up killing Lamos at a later time. He had to make 3 trips to Desert.
I mean, with the seed giving them book and boots this early on, I feel like the chances that that one pedestal item is something required are actually kind of decent here. Mushroom in the Ice Rod Cave, that's an awkward thing to pick up in such a faraway place, but Tairr's got it now.
Yeah. He may check out the Hobo next. With fake flippers. As a speedrunner, he knows how to do fake flippers very proficiently, even without a setup.
Use the bush, just jumps right in there.
From that side of the transition, well, actually from either side, there's a 2-pixel window to jump in, so it's not terribly hard to land yourself one. But when you're moving to the right, it's possible to move 1 pixel at a time, so it's easier to make smaller adjustments towards the transition if you're on the left side of it and moving to the right. Eunos is setting up a depth warp, if you're wondering why he's running into these cannonballs intentionally.
Yep, no mirror, so this is as good as any to get back to the entrance. Gonna see what Hobo has here. Tairr trying to find a sequence break with these fake flippers. Gets the gold sword, yeah. All right.
Not a bad thing to have very early.
Yeah, I mean, Tempered Sword is pretty darn good, but he'll take it. They're going to want to see the butter. So Eunos checking out desert ledge item here. I didn't catch if you went to check it out beforehand, but it is a shovel.
It's a good item to pick up if you know where it is, because you can't confirm whether or not you need it until you use it.
Tairr with his items. He's heading to... Where is he heading to?
You're going to purchase the bottle item, the bottle vendor item.
Right.
You'll be disappointed.
Doesn't care about the bomb upgrade in the library.
No.
Eunos going to cash in on this shovel. He went here, you know, not a gamble, but he took a risk, I guess. And it led to this shovel, so we'll see if the shovel leads to... Hey! Titan's Myths!
Okay.
That is an advantage. Like we said, Tairr's got some great items from Mini Moldarm Cave, but I mean, that's where Eunos is going next. Probably, I guess Titan's Myths, maybe he goes somewhere else now.
You may go to the mountain. I know there's a very good chance that those couple items that you can actually check on the mountain without having, you know, the items to explore the whole mountain. There's a good chance they're going to be important items. But of course, we know the hookshot was at the Mini Moldarm Cave, and that actually opens up the rest of the mountain.
Silver arrows lurking behind Hasrala.
Yeah.
Tairr's got the bow and he's right outside Eastern. It is a
what do you do it
dungeon. We'll see what he decides to do. And Eunos is in fact going up Death Mountain. You pointed out hookshot. That's important for accessing later parts of Death Mountain. Also the hammer and the mirror. I guess if he had both, he could also make progress.
Yeah.
That way.
So Tairr is going to do Eastern. Does he know it's a pendant?
He did not check the map, but he'll know if he pays attention to the music.
He might just be doing all dungeons style. Back in the old days, it used to be very common for players just to do all dungeons and do pretty standard sequencing throughout the game. But of course, it's opened up a lot. Oh man. And he's going to be rewarded for this.
Eunos is definitely not going to find the hammer and mirror on Death Mountain. He's already got a red boomerang from the old man, and Tairr, of course, has found the mirror in Eastern Palace, so he is looking pretty good here.
Yeah, maybe a little while before Tairr ends up checking Desert. Well, actually, he doesn't, unless he finds the flute or the power gloves, he won't really have many other options.
That's true. Yeah, with the book and the boots, he probably won't feel too bad about going all the way over to Desert. Eunos has found the flippers. That's going to open up.
Open up the hobo properly.
Yeah.
With the Titan Myths, he could get to Zora anyway, without needing the flippers, but he doesn't have nearly enough rupees anyway.
Tairr putting his sword beams to work in the Stalfos room, having knowledge of what you have at your disposal to make earlier dungeons where you normally don't have that stuff faster. It's a sign of a seasoned randomizer player.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's some of the most impressive stuff to see is very clever use of uncommon items or weapons in some places.
Tairr had an option to go right and check out pick up some rupees for Zora. He does not have flippers. So
that's a good point.
I guess he's not thinking too much about Zora.
I think there's, I want to say 90 rupees in there.
Well, there's 2 things in 9. You just 45, 90 rupees, yeah.
Okay. Bunch of I was remembering that exactly correctly. It's not very far out of the way and kind of fast to get. It's not one of the worst options for sure if you need rupees, and you just happen to be right past them.
Eunos is going to head up to the Ice Rod Cave, and he is going to find the mushroom here. We still don't know what it leads to.
That's right.
Tairr with a great...
They're getting the map there. I didn't see all the items, but does that mean that the big key chest could be an item location?
Did I see the compass?
Don't recall the exact nature of that dungeon. We'll see if he goes back in or not. Looking at his input display, he's going the other way. You can tell right before he actually...
Oh yeah, good call. Yeah, it seems like he was keeping better track than we were. That, or he's just made a terrible mistake, but I doubt it.
Well, potentially terrible mistake.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the lamp. Oh, right. It's easy mode. Never mind.
Well, that still would be a fire source, which would let him complete Desert Palace.
Right. I was thinking about dark rooms in Eastern Palace, but then I remembered he went through one anyway, so
yeah,
that's not the case.
So Eunos is following Tairr's trail here. We'll see if he decides to go into Eastern the way Tairr did. He'll be rewarded with the mirror. If he does...
Well, Eunos actually has a lot less options at this point. As to where he... Well, now that he's got the hookshot, I guess Death Mountain has opened up. For Tairr, I feel like there were other options that maybe were equally as good or better than doing a pendant dungeon that early.
Well, it's pretty fast. It's a green pendant. You're right next to Sahasrara where you can cash it in. I can see why you might just want to get it over with.
Right. I don't think it's a bad decision, but I think it's definitely an uncommon one. I don't think you'll see many people make the same call in the same situation.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. So mushroom leads to nothing important here. But we saw Shovel did. So Tairr probably heading to Desert now, or... He does not have a glove or flute. He's going to Aghanim.
Oh. Well. Okay. The item under the lumberjack tree, we don't know if it's important or not yet. But this will only really open up one location for him. The pyramid.
Yep, without the hammer or Moon Pearl. Moon Pearl, the big one. Hard to do much in the Dark World. But it's really often that pyramid has some kind of key item.
Yeah, I think it's fairly common.
Then again, we know where the hookshot is, where the mirror is, where the boots are.
Yeah, so Eunos is going to be able to check a lot of locations over here. Well, we're going to check all the Light World, and if he wants to use Super Bunny, a couple in the Dark World.
We have seen quite a bit of...
Oh, only one bomb. Lucky, he actually found that under a rock earlier. 50% chance, completely luck. If he hadn't had that, he would have had some trouble here. Ooh, okay, wow. Okay. So he'll be able to check all of Death Mountain, Light and Dark World.
That is a big find for Eunos. And other than the mirror that Tairr has, Eunos is looking pretty solid here. But we'll see if Aghanim does end up being required, then I would not say he has any sort of advantage over Tairr at this point.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge their positions relative to each other. Eunos got 300 rupees there, so he will have enough for Zora when he chooses to go that way. Also, and he picked up the land.
Mm-hmm. So he could go back to Desert if he's... I mean, yes, he had Fire Rod, so it's two reasons to go back to Desert. Probably wants to wait until he finds the flute, if he can.
Yeah, he may put off a return to Desert for a long time.
Also, with both fire sources on Death Mountain, we know Tairr's not going to be able to complete Desert should he go that way. So that means Tairr... Well, Tairr does have to go to get the shovel, to get Titans, to get on Death Mountain, to get the fire source to complete Desert.
Unless the power gloves are on the pyramid, I guess.
That's true.
Or the flute, maybe any way for him to get up to Death Mountain would prevent him from having to do that first. Looks like he's gonna use the bug catching net on Aghanim.
Hey, nice. And it's a good and proper net dash as well.
That's right. There's the power gloves. So we know where they're not going to be, and that's everywhere else.
Heading now into the Dark World is Eunos.
You're going to have several more locations to check, and he can look at the map see what dungeons it needs to complete here, and even check out Turtle Rock's medallion requirement.
Gonna do this little hookshot clip. Almost. Didn't quite get it. Positioning yourself correctly such that the hookshot just barely connects to that block. You can clip yourself far enough to the right to just walk through. Tiny little time save. Meanwhile, was that red rupees that I saw in the pyramid?
I believe it was, yes.
Oh no, Tairr! Well, maybe that bombos is required. There's a... I think there's a... Oof! The flute also on Death Mountain, so it is now, I think, confirmed. Tairr has to go to Desert to get the shovel to get the Titan's Mitts.
Looks like he may be heading that way.
Meanwhile, Eunos has got damn near everything. He's missing the mirror in Eastern Palace, but like hammer, ice rod, the medallion or two maybe. But
yeah, it looks like it's going to be out there for Turtle Rock, but we haven't seen it if that's going to be a required dungeon yet.
Into the hookshot cave. 4 chests to check here. But with so many key items already found, he shouldn't be too disappointed if he ends up not finding anything here. Just get a bottle.
A bottle with a bee in it. Tairr bombing Aghanim. Interesting strategy there.
Yeah, I mean, this cave never has anything, man. It never has anything. So, letting out some frustration can do wonders for your mental mind state, I'm sure. Eunos checking out some of these bonk rocks.
I'll be able to check King's Tomb as well.
As Tairr dashes, finds the shovel on the ledge. We know just how key that shovel actually is to his progression.
Oh yeah. You won't be able to full clear Desert because you won't have a lifting upgrade while he's here. Now, that's probably a good thing, honestly. He's not going to waste time doing it.
Eunos, done checking Death Mountain, save and quit. To Sanctuary with all these items. Where do you think he's going? Outcasts, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I guess he'll activate his flute first. Yeah, you only need the Titan Mitts or the Power Gloves and the hammer, but with the Titan Mitts alone, you can get to this warp here.
Tairr's down to 4 hearts. We'll see if he sets up a death warp.
Well, with the red mail, it's
right.
With the red mail, unfortunately, setting up a death warp is pretty tedious.
You could be like the TAS and just do like damage boosts all over the place the whole way there. So he's able to get this big key with the boots. This is the difference. Eunos did not have the boots when he was here. He was not able to get the big key to check the big key chest. So that could be a little something to help Tairr gain some ground over Eunos, who has now got a Dark World map, crystals aplenty. I think it was Ice Palace.
Ice Palace, yeah.
Tairr baited, only gets the map.
Yeah, I think Eunos is coming here quickly so we can check out that last medallion requirement to confirm if he does need to kill Aghanim or not. Or did he even check it?
I didn't see it. Oh, chat saw it.
Okay, nice. Oh, well, if it's Bombos, then okay.
Tairr just... He has no idea, but he just made up a ton of ground over Eunos. Eunos now knows required. Aghanim gonna charge straight on up there.
And meanwhile, Tairr is going to be exploring a few places that Eunos already has, while Eunos is completing some quest objectives that Tairr already has.
Yeah, these guys could sync up rather nicely when these two sort of detours are... I mean, for both players, it is an important method of progression, but from our perspective, it's like a detour for both to get back onto the main road here. Tairr gets the Titan's Mitts. He was not 100% sure, probably, that was going to be there, but boy, is he glad to see that.
Yeah, he was probably thinking, well, if I don't get something here, what can I possibly do next? With real flippers, actually, he hasn't gotten the flippers yet. Never mind. With fake flippers, he could have got to Zora.
Yeah, I was just
But yeah, that could not have been a required thing for him.
I always hesitate to say that something might have been the last place to check, because I just don't trust myself to know for sure that all other places are indeed inaccessible.
Yeah, I've been pretty well convinced I checked everything in runs or races before, and then afterwards been like, oh man, I never went back to escape for those 3 chests. There, never would have found them. And sometimes it actually does kick you in the butt.
Well, no butt kicking for Tairr just yet. He's got his Titan gloves off to
Not just
Death Mountain, but first.
Oh, he's gonna grab bombos first.
Seems like the correct play here. He doesn't know what's required, but there's what, like a 55% chance, I think, that any given medallion is required.
Yeah. I don't know the exact numbers, and I don't know if it. I don't know who calculated, so I don't want to trust the exact number, but unless I know who calculated it.
Well, it wasn't me, so you can lend more credibility to it. Definitely repeating something I heard from someone who I do recall thinking, yeah, they would know.
Oh, probably a safe bet then. Especially if they showed you the method that they used to get to that. Even if you don't understand the method, if they show it, you gotta take them seriously.
Well, he's got letters and numbers here, so
yep,
it must be legit. Eunos into the Aghanim 1 fight. Pretty boring without the randomness of blue balls. Not that I'm saying we should have it or shouldn't have it, but it's not a very compelling fight.
No, it's almost impossible to actually make a mistake on this fight unless you're trying for maximum swag like net dashes. Otherwise, it's the exact same timing every time. Give or take a couple seconds at most.
Tairr making good use of spin speed, running seemingly underneath the Tektite there mid-jump. Nice job. He's got that red mail, so I don't think he's really in danger of dying. He's doing his best to find out.
He sees the flippers, opts not to hover, instead choosing to walk there.
Oh, okay. The 55% chance just comes from the just math.
Just math. Is that taking into consideration the possibility that those dungeons won't be required? Or is that assuming that you will have to actually access
probably
both?
Assumes both are required every time.
Okay. I took a statistics class a long time ago. Remember almost none of it.
5 choose 2 3 factorial. It's all a blur. Eunos is heading up to Catfish.
Yeah, with he hasn't found the mirror yet, has he? So he won't be able to just hop right into Zora's domain from here, even with the high rupee count. That's unfortunate for him.
Yep, that is a pretty nice time save. It's out of the way to get up here in both the Light World and Dark World, so if you can do one trip for both, that is pretty advantageous.
Yeah, for sure. So Tairr's actually going to have access to a few locations that Eunos hasn't checked out on the mountain because of that mirror. Ether
Tablet, the first of which sort of unlocked right at the beginning of the game. Nothing good there. He is going to be able to go into Hera, which is a crystal dungeon, and well, he would have wanted a fire source before going in. But... So would you have gone up to Hera rather than using the hookshot to go east first?
With the mirror and the Titan mitts, I probably would have gone to East Mountain first and full cleared all that, and then maybe made my way towards Hera, the tablet. Of course, I'm saying that knowing that that's the better decision in this.
Yeah, it's always hard to say.
Yeah.
Eunos is gonna reel flippers over to the hobo and gonna get that tasty butter sword.
Oh yeah.
While Tairr makes his way through Tower of Hera. I mean, there's a chance the basement is not required anyway, but if it is, it's a pretty significant time loss having to come back here.
Yeah, for sure. Especially without out of bounds clips, make this a lot faster. Everyone should play glitch mode. That's my endorsement. And I'm done talking about it.
So with hookshot and boots, we're able to just hookshot across and then bonk back.
Yep. Ooh, Eunos finding some bees there. Those are only there, I believe, after you kill Aghanim. Beforehand, there might be nothing that comes out of that tree. From a bonk, anyway. You can pull it for miscellaneous prizes.
Yeah, I like that the tree pull prize packs are also randomized. So Eunos has Bombos now. Both players have that in their inventory. Tears into the Moldorm fight, trying to land the second spin and misses it. I think that maybe caught him off guard because he did not get his sword up in time to defend against Moldorm.
Oh, Eunos stopped his dash right before hitting that buzz blob, but with the gold sword, it actually would have been would have killed it.
One of the neat little perks.
Where is Eunos going now?
He's going to check the Master Sword. He's doing it. He could have done this the first time he was here, but now he's got the boots, and that's like, oh well, the boot. Okay, now it's totally worth it to go check it.
Oh.
What? Mirror Shield. You're not required. I mean, that's kind of cool. That's not like couch cash, but
No.
that's not
Definitely not worth 3 extra dungeons.
Tairr's already partially there. He's got one such pendant. He's not going to do Ice Palace, though.
Oh, no.
I mean, maybe some crazy situation will pop up, but that is incredibly unlikely. He is now going to be heading to the east side of Death Mountain. He's going to find a ton of goodies waiting for him here. And I saw map, and I think I saw compass in Hera, so I think the basement does indeed have an item.
I don't recall, but I'll take your word for it.
Chad is usually pretty good at backing us up on such things. Eunos heading to Village of Outcasts finally. They've got so many items that like they're only just now approaching this prime area with all of these chests, opening up Thieves Town. Not going to go in just yet, but I won't be surprised if he does so shortly.
Yeah, you won't be able to access every chest without the hammer, but I don't think it's a terrible decision to go in there without it, honestly.
Dash is right in front of it. Could go up, could go down. Does go down. So for now, no Thieves Town. Gonna maybe swing around south, check out some of the things in the Dark World.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that you can check on the Dark World Overworld. You make a big loop around the whole thing, pretty much. Without the mirror, you won't be able to save the Dwarven Smith here. May put that off until he has the hammer as well, so he can do a few other things in that area. And maybe powder would help.
He is going to be able to do the digging game. 15 digs every time.
Yep, with the Titan Mitts, if you land this the item in the right spot, it's actually a little faster to lift up those rocks and jump down the ledges to get out.
Well, there's the powder you were talking about. With no mirror or hammer, though, he's not going to be able to cash in on that just yet.
Yep, not a bad thing to have. Still kind of a low heart count, even though their equipment is pretty advanced.
Stump Kid got a heart container for you that'll help solve that heart problem a little bit.
This is going to make his way over to one of our favorite locations to search for items.
Hype Kid! I got a
lot of items left.
Whenever I get loud.
There's only a few things that even could be here.
That's true. This is a lot of well, Bloomerang. Bam, there it is. Get hype for the Bloomerang and some bomb upgrade and another sword.
Ooh. Okay.
I mean, it kind of looks like you got the gold sword.
Yeah, I guess that's something.
Oh, we should call that fool's gold.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah. Hopefully I can get that to catch on. Anyway, Tairr's now checking out
copyright first.
The hookshot cave. And Eunos is back over to Village of Outcasts here.
Yeah, with the fire rod, he might check out Skull Woods even.
That's what I was thinking. Thieves Town has got a lot of chests, but without that hammer, it's just nagging at you. You really don't want to end up leaving that big chest and have it be something required.
The way I see it, if you leave the Overwood area and wait to get the hammer, you have to come back anyway. If you do it there, and there's an item there, you're going to have to come back anyway. You're doing a lot of the dungeon more than once in that case, but that case is not guaranteed. So maybe statistically it can be a little bit better. Or at least it's enough that I would say it's not a terrible decision if somebody were to do that.
He has chosen Skull Woods. He's got a compass so far. Tairr also heading up to Catfish. The difference is he has the mirror, so he's going to be able to check Zora. Finally, we haven't seen a Zora in 41 minutes.
2 items there, since he does have the flippers.
You know, Catfish has got, I think it was a piece of heart, but nothing important. Eunos still looking for things here in Skull Woods.
Oh man. Mirroring before getting the catfish item.
Yep.
That's actually something that people do by accident in normal speedruns. It is a terrible, terrible thing to happen.
Just that sound just grinding away.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, come back. With boots and flippers, he's gonna just dash along the top, and here we go. We've saved up. We've got double. Give me 2 of whatever you got, Zora. It's so good. I'm sure I'm gonna want 2 of them.
Well, not really worth the cost.
Yep. So that's chalk one up for Eunos there, unless Eunos decides to go back, making an entire separate trip up to Zora just for those items. That'll be especially painful.
Alright, might be time for Tairr to do his exploration of a large part of Dark World. I'll give you the flute first. Good choice. You're going to want to have that activated. We'll see if he checks out Meyer maybe and gets some relief that he went and picked up bombos.
Yep, not going to be able to enter Misery Mire just yet. The Cane of Samaria, well, I mean, I guess you could enter, but won't be able to complete it. Cane of Samaria is a very popular last item, you know, searching everywhere for the where is it sort of item.
Oh man.
Could be shaping up this way again. Eunos with a really good the fight there.
Yeah, he was doing a little dance there, having a little trouble, but got through it safely. Thanks in part to Red Mail, I'm sure.
Yes, we've seen Mothula go really wrong for a lot of players. It's an annoying fight for sure. The spikes will do 0 damage to Mothula. Not a lot of people know, but you can hit enemies into spikes in this game to do pretty good damage. But they wanted spikes in the room to be a sort of hazard, but then they also didn't want you to kill the boss by knocking it into spikes. So they said, spikes do 0. And that will overwrite whatever damage you did to Mothula if you knock her into the spikes.
Yeah, maybe there's some clever lore you can think of to explain that. But really it's just oversight in the programming. You know, setting up another death warp here.
Yep. The Gyudos do decent damage, so managed to chew through the red mail to make that happen. That is because he still does not have that mirror. I think odds are pretty low with all the items he has at his disposal that he's going to find himself in Eastern Palace anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not a common place to explore as a pendant until it's one of the last options.
Perhaps it being the green pendant will be enough to entice
Slightly
Eunos
more
to check it out.
favorable in that case, yeah.
Tairr also into Skull Woods.
And Eunos doing Thieves.
The flippers were on Death Mountain, right? Spectacle Rock? Did
Yeah,
Tairr grab those?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Just double checking. So that means Swamp Palace could... Oh, I guess Hammer. Yeah, you don't want to go in without Hammer. You can only check that one chest.
Yeah.
This Hammer is... well, you've seen that Hammer be in Swamp Palace twice. As unlikely as it is. And there... I mean, there's still lots of places to check, but a lot less than there was 10, 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, really, they found the items that opened up the majority of the world pretty early, and have just been clearing out their options since.
But the hammer remains elusive. Eunos is looking for it in Thieves Town. He's not going to have it to check the big key chest while he's here. It remains to be seen whether or not that's going to be a problem. Tairr going for the dash at the start of the Mothula fight.
Kind of bad RNG at the start there. Move down a little bit, that's a little better. Yeah.
A better fight than Eunos, making up I don't know, 5 seconds or so in that fight. Despite the bad opening, he got Eunos trying to dash up the Hellway, not quite having. Down to 3 hearts. Redmail's going to bail him out quite a bit here.
Yeah, the environmental hazards like spikes, spike tiles don't actually do less damage depending upon your armor. So walking into a couple of those can be really bad, even if you do have red mail. But the enemies will be not doing hardly anything.
Finding a compass for his troubles. Tairr. Did he actually go check it? I missed it.
He must have.
He must have, right? Yeah, okay, chat responding, so he definitely did. Tairr into the back half of Skull Woods here once again wants to check this last item.
He does have the powder on, he's going to use it. Okay. Not a bad call, honestly.
Powder is one of the last safeties I think players drop when they're doing no major glitches speedruns of this game. You can pick up the net and bottle, you can do red mail, gold sword, silver sword, but the powder in terms of just like time lost to safety gained just tends to be the best bet.
Very good. I kept powder and red mail until I had a 132 because I was uncomfortable with Ganon, so I kept getting the red mail for a while. Then I dropped them both at the same time. A lot of people don't even get red mail at all as the safety runs, just because it's beneficial for such a short amount of time. Only part of Ganon's tower and Ganon, and for 20-second loss, that's not worth it for a lot of players.
Yeah, but that helps so much on that Ganon fight, though. He does so much damage. Into the blind fight now, Eunos. Pretty sure he's kind of on script here. Blind always does kind of the same thing, so he is definitely off script now. I think he kind of got far enough along that he might be able to get blind down before he crosses the room. Gonna have to work for it, though. Nope, not gonna get it.
Not so bad, though.
Yeah, decent fight. Tairr's checked out some of Village of Outcasts. Gonna be checking out some more. We'll see now that he's done Skullwoods if he too decides to go into Thieves Town the way Eunos did.
Yes, he is.
Still a lot of still a couple of question marks, I guess. Ice Rod is required. Don't know where that is. Hammer, surprisingly, not found yet. That's a pretty important one. Like, if you find the ice rod now, you're like, well, good, but
right.
not going to help me nearly as much as the hammer would have. And, of course, the good old Key of Samaria.
The best item in the game.
Says who?
It says Super Scudge.
Well, there you have it. A bold proclamation. It is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the Candace Samaria because it leads to some of the most interesting glitches, but it's also probably the most fun one to use in general combat and against boss fights. It's not the most effective, but I think it's the most fun.
Yeah, not the most effective, but the most fun. I can definitely get behind that argument. You can do some instinct. You can put the block down and then like charge into it and knock the block across the room, and then use the rod and shoot a thing like no other one item does so many fun things.
Yeah, for sure. Eunos is about to throw away some cash here.
Yeah, this is disappointing. He was up this way in the dark world, was not able to check it with the mirror, so this is a separate trip to come all the way up here and be thoroughly disappointed.
Sure. Oh, check out the God Pixel. We got that RNG.
Dang. And then gets knocked right back onto the God Pixel.
Yeah, actually, if you're recoiling from damage in that room, and you can align yourself with the lower spike, that'll put you on the pixel perfectly. So, I don't know if most people can react that fast if they notice that kind of a situation.
Could have been.
You can also dash into the left wall and let the dash recoil you into the spike. It is going to increase your bonk counter, but it is a way to get lined back up.
Then it's not worth it. It's just
yeah. I know it's a questionable trade.
Eunos, he's back in Eastern Palace direction, and I can't think of any other reason why he would be here other than to go inside, and he is going to find that mirror, and that is going to be a big equalization between these two players.
Yeah, definitely.
The God Pixel is in that room. That room's called the Hallway. For obvious reasons, there's all kinds of hazards. It's a conveyor belt. It's atrocious to get through. But if you get, yeah, that's also true. If you get right in the middle, you can dash straight up and not have to worry about anything, assuming the enemies don't get in your way.
Yeah. So when you dash, you actually move 4 pixels per frame. So if you start from the same position, then the intervals on which you can stop are the same. So if you don't move out of the door at all before you start your dash, then it's a frame-perfect input to stop exactly on that pixel. So, nice little 1/60th of a second window for that. Eunos,
he got the mirror and he was like, "Awesome!" Boom, went out. I'm done with this place, and then was like, "Maybe I should," and then did end up fluting away.
Yeah, had some indecisiveness there. Tairr's off center, and that's going to affect this fight. Well, first phase is still fine. He has to be on the left side, though, for the second phase. Normally he'd be on the right side, but if you mess up the first phase, sometimes blind moves left first. You can tell which way he's going to move because the direction that his head flies off of his body is the direction that he's going to move on the following phase. Oh man, hit himself with that bomb. That wasn't intentional, I think. Luckily, it only does a quarter heart of damage when you have the red mail.
Eunos is going to be cashing in on this this whole trip here. He did this without the mirror. Now he's got it, so he's going to be able to do the blacksmith. No pegs, but he can do the bat cave, and he can also do purple chest and that ring of flowers that normally has a heart piece in it near the stump kid.
Yeah, and maybe make his way to the Bombos tablet as well.
Tairr now also doing the same thing. So remember when I said they were on those different routes? He's
going to lock himself out of this portal unless this guy gives him the hammer.
Yes, I did this actually. Andy was teaching me how to rando, and first of all, I didn't actually go up. I went left because I was dumb, and then the door closed behind me, and I didn't even get the powder for my trip. Gets ether, interesting. 33% chance that's required, I think. Someone must check Turtle Rock though.
Yeah, it is actually required for Turtle Rock.
Okay, it is. Yes. So that is that is huge. without that hammer, players will be kind of disincentivized to check that, like Tairr is moving on without checking it, so he's going to be etherless for who knows how long.
He doesn't have the powder. I think you get that from the digging game.
Oh, right! He's always going to go over there first, and then we'll see if he decides to change his mind.
The Tairr is ahead by 1 crystal, but that is the Tower of Hera, which is where I believe Eunos is heading now. So that lead may not last for very long.
He's got the bomb upgrade, he's going to be hitting in. He is going to have a fire source, but I don't think he's going to need it to check the basement.
Yes, the Tairr with his
heading
powder.
Back.
Yep.
Purple chest, okay.
He still won't be able to get back to this warp, so he won't be able to do the South Hyro loop with the chest. But he'll at least be able to fly down there actually. Maybe use the swamp warp and be able to check bombos. He'll have a couple of options. If he does that, he'll also be able to check out I think the hype cave he hasn't checked out yet.
Yeah, I think that was only checked by one of our players. One of the few things remaining that hasn't been done by both.
Glitch spark. That's annoying. But he reacted well to it. He didn't just let it knock him off. A lot of times when that thing glitches out, which is super rare, the first time it happens, it definitely throws off a lot of players.
So we'll see if he can avoid a fall to Moldorm the way it happened to Tairr. Tairr is going to be floating to Meyer.
Falling to Moldorm is super annoying. Doing some loop-de-loops. Careful, a little lag, you don't walk into the hole. Oh, and that'll even up the crystal count. Not just the same amount of crystals, but the exact same ones. Collected in a completely different order.
Yeah, and Tairr's also got a pendant around his neck just for show so far. Yeah, no, it's not going to be required for anything. Going to be checking out Checkerboard Cave.
And with that item, that last chest there, Eunos is going to get out of Hera. Realizes he doesn't need to even go to the basement.
So both players kind of equalized here. We'll see where they're going to go next.
Possibly the exact same place. At least at first.
Look, after all of this, after the different routes and all the different decisions, look at how much this is synced up. It's basically Tairr has done everything fast enough that he was able to squeeze in a completion of Eastern Palace.
Yeah.
Eunos going to do purple chest. Tairr going elsewhere.
Oh, baby.
That is a very important find.
Yeah, excellent. Drop the chest. Doing a quick hop. Yeah, but Eunos is going to be right behind him finding that item.
Yeah, not going to be one of those situations where it's a huge advantage for the first player to find an item. Also, never actually check stumps, so Tairr's going to go ahead and do that.
Eunos needs to be a little careful how he steps on that warp. If he steps on it kind of from the bottom left, there's a chance he'll get stuck in the bush and get warped back. So he'll want to hit it kind of high. Just to be safe.
Ooh, he had to swing down to pick up the chest, so it was pretty easy for him to walk into that portal the wrong way, but he does avoid it. Tairr going to be checking out Hype Cave. Eunos has already been, but he could check that one chest in Swamp. Bombo's tablet as well.
I believe Tairr's going to find the false gold sword, as is the standard name for it, as we all know.
And it was Fool's Gold.
Oh, dang it. All up.
I don't know if this is going to work.
False
It's
gold
already been forgotten.
I don't know where that came from. Fool's
Eunos
gold, also
is
known
gonna be
as
checking.
iron pyrite.
Yeah, that's true. Bit of science knowledge for you guys.
Yeah.
Eunos has got the book in hand, going to be opening up this Bombo's tablet. Nothing good inside. Tairr going to be following right behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, I'm having trouble thinking of a place one player's checked that the other hasn't, other than Eastern Palace.
Yeah. It's actually quite even at this point. With the Canis Samaria, Misery Miner might be a good call next. I think Eunos hasn't checked Checkerboard. I think that might be the last thing.
That's right, good call. So will he go to Meyer next? We'll see. Tairr's following behind him, and we know he has checked. So he's probably heading towards Meyer. It's not too often you see Meyer done as the 4th crystal.
They're pretty well equipped for it, though.
Yep, absolutely no reason not to. Mini pendants, Swamp, Palace of Darkness, and Turtle Rock, all requiring the hammer. Meyer, not so much. So, seems like the obvious place. And if this doesn't have the hammer, they're going to be in a bit of a panic, probably.
Yeah, they'll have some interesting decisions to make. Whether they enter dungeons that they can't complete, hoping to find the item that they need within it, or enter pendant dungeons, maybe full clear them. Eunos is going to use the Canis Samaria for combat. See how well he puts this to use.
All right. Can you get the 1 second? No, I can't. But if he had come up with some crazy 1 cycles Canis Samaria strat there, I would have been thrilled. So it's down to just good old-fashioned execution for this dungeon. Both players in exactly the same spot. Tairr just a little bit ahead, and based off of their play so far, I think he's got a bit of an advantage in terms of movement and execution.
Yeah, this is kind of a common route in Misery Miner, what he's doing. I feel like this is more effective if you're only looking for the big key, because you happen to find it from one of these 2 chests on the east side here. Then you just, you're much closer to your destination. If you're looking to clear all the chests because you're still looking for multiple items, I'd say it's not the best option.
I guess it's something a lot of players aren't usually familiar with. It's pretty uncommon you come into Meyer looking for 2 items.
Yeah, Eunos is doing a completely different thing. Nice to see divergence, because he did get the big key early. Did he hit the switch, though? He did not hit the switch, so we won't be able to check this chest while he's here. Could go in through that locked door from the opposite side. There are plenty of extra keys in Meyer, and it looks like he's collected a few already. Or he could hit the switch and come back later.
We'll see in a moment. Tairr's moving the wall here. This incredibly and just gruelingly long cutscene.
Oh yeah, that is not a good place to take a bathroom break, because the Wizard Rose will spawn and kill you.
You better be confident in exactly how fast you can get back to that controller. And frankly, given, I mean, it seems long, but it's not that long. So if
it's 20-something seconds, I think.
I would raise some hygiene concerns at that point. Anyway, we'll move on. Eunos is kind of following Tairr through that part of Meyer at this point, and no hammer and no ice rod just yet.
This is strange routing, actually. Yeah, so that's why Tairr didn't have the big key earlier, is because he didn't go into the spike room first. He's gonna have to do a loop to get to the big chest. Not a big one, just a small one.
Well, these two players, it seems their thing is to do different things, and then just meet up back. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's gonna happen here.
Now, Vitreous is kind of a tough boss, but I'm seeing 50 silver arrows for Tairr. So that's not going to be a problem. Did Eunos pick him up? It hasn't selected him yet?
Yes, I believe that is the case, because they were in Sahasrar's.
Yeah. He just switched
whatever that is. His house, I guess? No,
yeah,
he doesn't live there, though.
It's
He's
like his vacation house.
Yeah, it's his summer home.
Yeah.
There on the eastern cliffs. Quite lovely this time of year. Tears into some of these dark rooms with the lantern found. This is not going to be an issue.
Eunos is going to take the top secret path to Vitreous. This can potentially save a small key if the situation requires it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't have to unlock the small key door in the spike key room.
Oh, I got you. He is a little bit behind here. I mean, he entered the dungeon behind Tairr, but I think he's fallen just a little bit further behind. Still, Tairr is going to powder that fairy to make sure he's nice and healthy for Vitreous, even though red mail, silver arrows, not going to be too much of a problem.
Oh no, shouldn't be a problem at all. Eunos at 2.5 hearts. Maybe it'd be taking more of a risk by not powdering.
Oh, especially when that spike still hits him for full damage, down to 1.5.
Oh man.
Oh, okay. Red mail will not see. Well, he does have a blue potion.
Okay.
Did they find a fairy in a bottle?
I don't recall. I think I saw a bee, maybe 2 bees even, but I don't think I recall seeing a fairy.
So he is, he's pretty confident he's not going to take a hit then, because every time he opens his menu, that blue bottle is staring him in the face, and he says, nah, don't need it. I'm good. There's a fairy coming up. Here it is. No, just gonna get to do the other one. It's fine.
I hope he is fine.
Every little thing suddenly looks so much more dangerous. I mean, look how careful he's playing with the fire snake. All right, just land the powder. Yeah, nice. Tear into Desert Palace here. This is a pendant. So we have our first, I guess our second unforced pendant dungeon excursion.
Yeah, I guess he figures while he's here, might as well. If he was counting items earlier, he knows if Lamos is going to have one. So hopefully he was. It would be terrible to see the map or the compass here.
Oh.
And a pendant that you know you don't need.
Eunos also has no problems with Vitreous. So he's going to mirror, and where is he going to go? He's right outside Desert as well, so he might be thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he's actually explored a little bit less of it because he didn't have the boots the first time he was here.
Alright, Tairr's into the Land Molus fight. He's got silver arrows, so he's going to be able to one-shot them, though it's still pretty tricky to get the timing. He has no problem, though, with all three. Very good. Quick kill and gets an item, so he was, you know, he was right to come here. But it is not the item he wants. Trying to avoid the pendant there.
Changed his mind, though.
This is a cutscene now. And a health refill, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of nice. If he saves and quit, though, he'll lose that. Oh, he'll fleet away, though. Save the health refill. Yeah, so Eunos just finished clearing out the first part of Desert and is not going to go all the way to Lamolas.
So I wonder if that's a decision he's made, or if he just miscounted and said, no, Lemos doesn't have anything, I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of did the same thing at Eastern. Just explored a little bit of it and got out of there.
He also made that decision to go to desert before like Hylia, Mini Moldorum Cave, that kind of. So I wonder if he's thinking, I'm at a bit of a disadvantage against Tairr. I need to take some risks.
Yeah, nothing huge though. Just not full clearing something when there's a very small chance of it being required. Not a huge risk, but it will be a small time save. Oh, I think Tairr's checking out North Lower Hyrule. He's gonna hookshot across here. He's already checked out the King's Tomb, I believe, but there's still a couple more places he could check place here.
And Eunos has opted for Palace of Darkness. There's a lot of items in here.
Yeah.
You can. I'm not sure exactly how many you can get to without.
Without the hammer?
Yeah.
It's all of them.
Okay.
Caught a bee.
Banking on it.
Caught a bee.
I didn't register what you like. I heard the words in your head, but my brain didn't put together what that even means until that second time. So he's got that now. That's his. I think he forgot he checked King's Tomb earlier.
Yeah, looks like it. Luckily, it stays open, so we didn't have to walk in there and see the open chest, at least.
Where is this hammer? Is it in Palace of Darkness? Is Eunos blue mail? That's interesting, but not what Tairr wants to see.
Switching to a blue potion with half a heart missing. Interesting choice. Is he gonna
more bees?
drink and pick up another bee?
He wants more bees.
Wow, I think it's a 50% to spawn there.
He's going back for more. This is
What?
Tairr's a regular beekeeper. I mean, the meme factor is off the charts, but
what is
potioning? That's pretty useful. I mean, like, sure, he lost time, but I mean, I guess with Red Mail Gold Sword, you're probably not really too worried about taking too much damage from Ganon or something.
Yeah, he's probably pretty confident in the position he's in. Looks like he'll make his way to Palace of Darkness. So now he's trailing behind Eunos a little bit in the same dungeon.
Weird. It's almost like he just lost time somehow, doing something he didn't need to. I gotta point out, the chat called out that he's resorting to plan B.
Oh no,
that is top tier. I'm quite happy someone threw that one out, so thank you very much. Eunos still exploring Palace of Darkness here, still wants to see this hammer, though it is end of the world. We know if he doesn't find it here, because Tairr is also checking this same location.
That's right.
You gotta be ready when Plan A fails. What else are you gonna do, right? You need to be ready for these situations. That's how Randomizer works. Eunos finally done checking the sort of front half of Palace of Darkness. Gets
That's a
knocked
rough
off
fall.
there. Yeah.
These helmet swords actually have a special check where if you hit them with a sword or a hammer and they're facing the opposite direction that the player's facing, that it won't work. It doesn't actually check which side of them you actually strike. So if you turn around and charge a spin, then you'll actually kill them. The Ice Rod. Well, that's something. I mean, it's definitely not something that they're unhappy to see, but it doesn't really help them with their current objective.
Yeah. Any other race, finding that Ice Rod there is like a fist pump, like, oh, yes, finally, go mode. And in this one, it is a bittersweet Ice Rod, because they still need that hammer. Every one of these dungeons they check that doesn't have it is it's a pretty significant time loss, and they know that, and they have no way of knowing which other dungeons that their opponent has checked.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, big key, and I think the last chest before the big chest for Eunos there.
Is it Vanilla Hammer?
Could be. Oh. Without the hammer, you can't even get into Turtle.
Yes, that's true. Swamp, the one chest in Swamp, a couple of overworld locations.
Yeah, I was wondering if Eunos might finish up these pendant dungeons before checking out some of the other dungeons. He's at least getting the green pendant.
I mean, this is a pretty short dungeon, but this is still pretty significant. I won't be surprised if he comes out of here around the same time Tairr comes out of Palace of Darkness.
They're having the exact same fall that Eunos just had. What's going on here?
I'm sort of putting in work. Oh, having trouble with him again. Does manage to conquer the beast at that time. I'm sort of trying to play the "You shall not pass" card one time too many. Fool me once, Helmasaur, shame on me. There's that ice rod, so Tairr's got that. And he's gonna be glad he had it in, 20 minutes or whatever when he's in Turtle Rock, but right now it ain't no hammer.
So where does Tairr go next? The one chest in Swamp, it might be nice just to rule it out quickly and then check out the other things. But it's also only one location, so take a lot of time just to check it, so there's a very small chance of being there.
Yeah, but how many other locations are there really that they haven't checked?
There's, I guess, a handful of places in Ice Palace. Not quite everything in Ice Palace, though, because you do need the hammer.
Pendant Ice Palace without the hammer. That's desperate. I said earlier that they're not going to want to go into Ice Palace Pendant unless things get really bad.
Well, here we are.
And that is a grim choice. Pendant Ice Palace without the hammer, or Swamp without the hammer. These are the situations Randomizer forces us into. So, Tairr actually beating Eunos out of Palace of Darkness as Eunos is wrapping up the temple here. He's also probably going to go check the Hasserla Green Pendant, and he's going to be a little disappointed when he finds out that's not the hammer he's looking for.
Yeah. Tairr back in the Village of the Outcasts. One more time.
Nice spin speed all the way across the town.
Yeah, actually, without the hammer, they don't have a lot of good options how to get into the Dark World. He could be making his way to Swamp now. But he couldn't have used the warp south of Link's house. If he used the castle warp, he wouldn't have been able to get across the hammer bridge. It's a long trek, but looks like that's what he's going to do.
So if the hammer is here, you're able to just proceed through the dungeon. And lost his shield. Oh no!
Maybe he'll go get that mirror shield.
Yeah, maybe. He's 2/3 of the way there. If he doesn't find the hammer in this one chest here in Swamp Palace, he's going to be most of the way there. Eunos, by the way, here he is in Ice Palace.
Good chance we're going to see the hammer pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, there's only so many places left. How many items in Ice Palace?
Give me 20 seconds, I can check.
Sure. And that's I guess with and without the hammer is important as well.
It has the potential to have 3 unique items.
3, okay, versus 1 in Swamp and maybe an overworld location, but I can't think of one.
Right. Without the hammer, he can't get to the normal big key chest. He couldn't get to Cold Stare. I guess the one that's normally the map he wouldn't be able to get to. And I think that's all of them.
Tairr did not find what he was looking for in Swamp, so now he is off to Ice Palace.
Mirroring
amateur opinion, this is where the hammer has to be.
It's a very good chance, I think, at this point. Eunos isn't going to bomb jump. No.
Can you think of a place other than here? Like, it's a place that no one's checked? Putting you on the spot once again.
What was that?
Can you think of a spot somewhere else that neither player has checked?
Well, I mean, there's like the spike cape, but you need the hammer. There's the hammer pegs, but you need the hammer. Wow.
Yeah, so I think this is it.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else actually.
I
mean, there's a few places that Eunos hasn't checked. The Tairr has.
Yes.
Or at least one. Mamola's.
So let's hope for our sake that the hammer's in here, because otherwise I'm going to be a little lost. There we go. Hammer in the big key chest in Ice Palace pendant dungeon.
Alright, so Eunos gets a little head start for the last 3 crystal dungeons. Against Tairr and Ganon, that's all that remains now.
Every seed's got something, you know? Well, that's not true. Some seeds are a breeze, but
who likes those?
The greatest seed in the world can turn into a trolley seed with just one thing, and there it is. One cruel twist of fate with an awkward hammer location, and we had ourselves a pretty interesting situation that has now been resolved. Hammer makes it go mode for Eunos. So he's got a head start against Tairr by a minute or so.
Yeah, Tairr's several rooms behind. He may not check the big chest first, though. Unfortunately, over here, well, he can only check one chest. You won't be able to go down or up the stairs, rather, to get to those other options, because those are the ones that you need the hammer for. So yeah, I'll probably head straight to the big chest next.
Both players are doing a good job of knowing how to explore this dungeon without the hammer.
Yeah, it is worth noting, somebody mentioned in chat that even though Eunos is a little bit ahead, he does not have as many bees as Tairr does. We'll see if that comes into play.
Yeah, that's at least a minute, so this is dead even. You know, we get a pretty good glimpse of the windfish here, by the way. This was what I was waiting for. We've seen Tairr consistently make up time on Eunos through execution. So there's still a lot of Link to the Past left to play. They've mostly checked Palace of Darkness. You still got to go through there. Still got to finish Swamp. All of Turtle Rock, all of Ganon's Tower. There's a lot of room there for Tairr to make up some ground.
Yeah, and luckily it looks like we're going to see them at least start the remaining dungeons in the same order. So we'll get to see if he does start making up ground, it should be visible by the end of Swamp. Swamp's a very short dungeon too, when you don't need to get the big key. All you need to do is get a couple of small keys, which are guaranteed locations. They're not in chests, so their location is not randomized.
Yeah, you can avoid going to the whole left side. And the door, one of the few dungeons, one of 2 dungeons, where the big key is actually not required to fight the boss, the other being Skullwoods. So very few things in your way from just going straight to the boss.
There also aren't even really any luxury items remaining. Like if they hadn't had the silver arrows or a sword upgrade or an armor, you know, then maybe they'd be opening chests that are along the way, but none of that's going to come into play here at all.
Yeah, the cape's kind of cool, but you're not going to be checking chests for the cape.
No.
Although with all the bees we've seen from Tairr, like you could do some meme stuff with the Quake medallion.
Oh yeah.
He sacrificed some time for those bees. I don't know how much time he sacrificed for a Quake medallion. Eunos into the Argus fight and getting backed up into the left corner. Players typically usually find themselves in the right corner.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real reason for that in particular. It's just where you sort of end up. You see other people do it, so you do it that way.
Yeah, it could be. It could be that that was how Crystal did it, and then that was just how everyone did it.
Well, actually, Crystal usually ended up on the left side when doing the quick kill. She messed up the first part of it. So who knows who popularized right side Argus?
Well, Argus is dead now for Eunos. Pretty decent fight. I don't think I've seen anyone really do the quick kill in this randomizer tournament.
Yeah,
it is
few people can.
Yeah. It's incredibly tricky. I'm not even sure exactly. You have to like do an item dash to get the sword out, but doing full damage.
Yeah. You'll dash into the room, so you have your sword already out, and you just keep holding B to keep it out. You do an item dash as the first hook shot, and that way the sword does dashing damage instead of poking damage, which is full damage. And then you just gotta time each input very precisely, do some very precise movements to make sure you're pulling the puffs in the correct order. In this tournament, I know Andy can do it, maybe not with very high consistency, but he's definitely capable.
No way! Oh, chat pointing out Andy just did it in the race before this one. I missed it.
Yeah, he might. I'm trying to think. I think Mike the viewer maybe. Can't think of anybody else in the tournament that's really competent in that strat.
Yeah, it's pretty fast, but it is so complicated. Maybe one of like the hardest.
I think it's
single things.
The hardest boss strat for sure.
Yeah.
There's also a quick kill in the second phase, which makes use of the fire rod.
We have seen that a couple times. Tairr's got the mirror out, so I hope he's not going to try to go for it.
I hope not.
Opts just for the 2 spins. He gets Argus down, while Eunos tries to recomplete most of Palace of Darkness here before finally finishing it off.
Yeah, glance at the timer. I think at the end of Swamp Palace, it's almost 2 minutes difference.
All right, that is more than the 1 minute I posited back at the start of Swamp. And now there's one less dungeon between both racers and the goal. So that is a hefty task that Tairr is up to here. He does seem to be playing a little bit better in terms of execution, so I would expect to see this lead shrink a little bit. But 2 minutes, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness being mostly completed means there's less stuff to execute. So he's gonna have even if he is playing better, he's not gonna be able to make up as much time there. If one player makes bad decisions, like maybe not checking the big chest in Turtle Rock when it could be a small key, that could be a factor, and also just a different route in Ganis Tower, if there's any chance that we'll actually see anybody take chances there.
Yep, the old left side, right side could be a major decider. I'm not sure how both players are feeling. They did end up looking for the same item in the same places towards the end, though they took pretty different places, different routes to get there. So I'm not sure what they're thinking mentally in terms of am I ahead, am I behind, and how that might influence their decisions through the end game.
Yeah, I wish I had a little more insight about the habits of these players, so maybe I can predict that a little better, but I'm afraid it's anybody's guess.
I feel like we've seen Eunos opt to do something
non-traditional.
To try to find an edge over his opponent. But like something like going right side and gain its tower, that's pretty significant. That's a pretty significant risk, and we have seen him not take those. Right, he doesn't go crazy, and he didn't go right to Swamp Palace to check the one item.
Yeah,
taking very calculated risks. So maybe something like skipping the big key chest in Turtle Rock. I could see him maybe doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
So he is on his way there, putting the hookshot to use to cross to Eastern Death Mountain while Tairr deals with the Turtle Room. Goes very well for him.
Yeah, making good use of the gold sword.
I think he was expecting to get the key dash there through the door, and then was a little off guard when he bonked off of it.
There's no real setup for that key dash, but a lot of speedrunners actually can recognize the pixel that Link's standing on based on the floor pattern, and can tell if they're going to get the dash or not. You don't really like try to set it up, but you can tell if you're going to get it, and you know whether or not you have to stop your dash.
Getting a great kill there is Tairr. He's finished off Helmet Sword. Eunos doing spin speed on the pegs, which I like. Pretty tricky to move Link around in such a small space when he moves that fast, and the hitbox on the hammers kind of weird. So I have seen players go for that and lose more time than the spin speed would have saved.
Oh yeah, I've seen that a lot. So people can jump off. You gotta start the whole thing over. Well, you don't have to reset the puzzle or anything.
So Eunos inside Turtle Rock proper. Going to be checking this right side first. Tairr hot on his heels up Death Mountain, and getting knocked around by Squirrel a little bit. Is not going to get blocked though. That is a much bigger time loss if that happens. You really want to try to avoid that.
The last couple dungeons are the most difficult, and it's maybe where the more experienced player is able to gain a bigger advantage. There's an early big key for Eunos. Does he check the compass chest? Because he also has a small key. I probably would.
These are the kind of small decisions that can end up making a really big impact on this race. He is indeed going to be checking that chest while Tairr gets blocked, banged around by these squirrels. One did its best to try to get in the way on the stairs there after picking up the rock. And there's the spin speed, not quite saving time for Tairr there. That was a 5-hammer warp.
We're going to see a medallion dash. Actually get super speed off these stairs if you do an item dash with a medallion. It's very hard to control. Saves almost no time. Super nice though. Chomps gave Eunos a little bit of trouble, but could be a lot worse.
Yeah, if that was green mail, this would have been a really dire situation. Anti-Fairy tagging Eunos just a little bit there. He's got that powder out, so if at any point he wants to remedy this hard situation, he can. Tairr goes immediately down to the compass chest.
Can you hear that ice cream truck?
I sure can. I was wondering if it was a phone that were gone to answer it, so I was like trying to just carry it. But if you're still there with me, then
that was. I
just love ice cream. That's the ice cream song I know. That's the childhood favorite. They do all kinds of weird ones now.
I think we've always had the same kind of ones here. Except for the drug dealers, they have a different one.
There's something awesome about taking something so lovely as an ice cream truck, and then just like perverting it, and then playing music, and then having that music associated with this now shady thing, so you hear it coming, and all the parents are like, "Oh no, there's that one. No, not that one. No,
not that one.
Another day, I'll buy you ice." Anyway, moving back to the race at hand, Eunos is probably not going to be checking Mimic Cave, but he has detoured here for the big chest, so he is not going to get screwed over by any sort of key situation. And it does have a small key.
There is still a possibility that's not necessary, because he did skip a chest, which could have been a key for a key, or it could have been a waste of a key. So there has to be at least one extra one after that point. Without opening it, though, we have no idea what that situation is. But now he's definitely safe.
Tairr's pretty far along through Turtle Rock as well. I would say a little closer than the 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, Eunos had a little trouble with the pokies, then the chain chomps. A couple of little time losses.
Yeah, despite all the places they checked, they never did pick up a magic upgrade, so they are going to be in a little bit of a crunch for that. Eunos not able to kind of use the fire rod on this Pokies, gets knocked off by the Helmasaur, and then the camera slowly scrolls all the way back up. These are the kind of things that are going to start mattering as these players get towards the end, and there is separated by less and less time here.
More little mistakes. Careful of that. Hokuboku. Okay. Two hard drops. Nice.
Yeah, both players actually pretty low on health, and no more anti-fairies. Turtle Rock is ripe with anti-fairies, but they're gone now. It's just you, 5 hearts, and Trinex. Got one back door.
Only 3 hits per head with the gold sword.
That is a great fight.
Yep. Is it 0? It's 1 movement but 0 attacks.
Can you finish it off with the spin on the second phase, going for 2 hits? Looks like you got it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Tairr falling off a little bit there. I had to wait for the firebar cycle. Doesn't want to take any more damage since he is already down to 4.
Yeah.
Eunos has got his crystal. He is off to Ganon's tower. There is only 1 dungeon and a pair of bosses left. Well, I guess there's like some boss refights. So there's actually a whole lot of bosses left. Going for spin speed there, does get it. In terms of resources, like you said before, they've got pretty much everything. Gold sword, silvers, red mail being the big 3. Eunos still has a potion, and Tairr, of course, has an army of bees. Chat's already way ahead of us. You guys know the drill. If you don't know what these numbers are about popping up in chat, they are trying to guess which chest here in Ganon's tower has the big key. There are 22 possible locations. Not all of them are chests, but most of them are. So you can go ahead and guess which one has it. We're going to start opening them real soon.
So we got to switch to the fire rod. You, of course, can't use the menu while the boss is exploding or any part of the boss. It's an important part of the Trinex strategy, actually, to switch rods before you kill the first head. Looks like Bob survives this round.
Tairr having a not quite so good as Eunos fight, but still pretty good fight with Trinex. Does get him down. I forgot to check to take a timestamp, but they're still about this, you know, as far apart as they were. Oh, we got it. That's bad news for Tairr. He is running out of game that he needs to happen to give himself a chance to catch up to Eunos. If he could have chosen where that big key was. Well, that's weird too, because he could put it on the right side and then go get it. So maybe that analogy doesn't quite work. He would have preferred if Ganon's tower was a longer dungeon.
Yeah.
Into the mimics, Eunos firing an arrow once the wrong way, and losing a surprising amount of time due to the lag that the silver arrow generates all those pretty little sparklies.
Yeah, there's a few instances of that sparkle effect, you know, the magic boomerang, the sword charge, and they pretty much all can generate a large amount of lag.
The Cane of Burnout being the ultimate offender.
Oh, yeah.
Eunos not going for any sort of refill from that fairy fountain-ish area. He's pretty good on health, and could have he does have the net, so he could have got a fairy or two, but he's got a lot of the safeties. He probably doesn't have anything to worry about. Not getting the snipe on this horse knight.
Play Robin Hood.
So I think they're like 1 minute and 50 seconds apart at this point. Eunos not having the greatest gauntlet. Yeah, that's a lot of time for just Ganon's tower. Eunos has had some problems in the gauntlet, but nothing too bad. He's through it into the Landmolus fight, missing the snipe there. Does get the... I don't know if that was a silver arrow or 2 gold slashes there, but does get that second one down. It lands the snipe on the third, so a very fast 2 cycle. Tairr does get the mimics lined up. We'll see about the second room. They don't have that mirror shield that was waiting in the Master Sword pedestal. Eunos executing on that wonderful King of Samaria strat. Gets a fairy. That's going to top him up. Very nice to have. Oh, I thought he fell off there, but he did not. He held on.
He got his non-slip shoes on, I guess.
Yeah.
Eunos opting for the Fire Rod strats in the first torch room. If you have enough magic, that's totally fine, because you do get a full refill in the following room.
Yeah, he freaked out a little bit trying to get around the torch. And he probably knew if he fell, he might not be able to get to the door in time, and then he might be in a magic crunch situation. So,
yeah,
actually a pretty key moment there not to fall. Like we said, once again, he's got those shoes on. Tairr into the gauntlet, doing everything he can to make up ground, and that was a really good first room. Going for the Stalfo snipe across the room with the silver arrow didn't pan out, and second room going not nearly as well. There's the pot. Pot being put to good work. Like you said, the pots in this game surprisingly lethal in combat.
Well, don't you going down quite easy to the gold sword as well.
Yep, that was a big opportunity for Eunos to lose time. He is not going to be checking that final chest. He's feeling the time pressure. Yeah, no, he doesn't need it, and he knows that his opponent has got to be close. He got held up on that hammer for almost as long as he could have.
Yeah.
So he knows his opponent's got to be close.
Kind of rough patterns here. I think he's got 2 on the first cycle, but the 2 hits might have combined into 1, so that's either 2 or 3.
Just a little bit off from landing that hit there. And now the clones are really out of sync, but this is kind of working in his favor a little bit there.
You don't want them to be perfectly synchronized, but if they get very far off, that's a problem. The desynchronization of the Aghanims and the Aghanim 2 fight actually is a pretty good indicator of how much time can be lost based on different warp positions, like in Aghanim 1, because you don't really think about that. But when you see how desync they can be, when one of them gets short warps and one of them gets long warps, that really kind of shows that the potential.
Oh, Tairr fell in the torch room, but he did it before he was lighting torches, so he's still going to be okay on magic. Eunos gets Aghanim down. Watching this cutscene here of the bat flying through the pyramid. Tairr gets his magic refill. He is pretty close, but he needs some kind of major mistake from Eunos on Ganon.
Yeah, it would take a lot at this point.
Going with a spin there.
Ooh.
Gets bodied by Ganon once. That's 4 hearts. Yeah. It's not the 8 hearts it would have done if he had the green mail. Going with this point blank charge strat there. Gets hit by 2 bats. He is down to 1.5 with that other bat. He cannot get hit by almost anything at this point. I'm pretty surprised he's not pulled out that blue potion.
Yeah.
He wants to focus on landing these hits in this phase to make sure that one of those fire bats doesn't come out. I don't know. There it is. No. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's much harder to get hit in the 3rd and 4th phase than the first 2.
It is. You're right. So maybe this is a... Oh, he misses torch glitch. But with silver arrows, that should still be fine. Can he get a double here?
Should be a single.
Yeah, too close.
He'll probably get a double on this. Yeah. He'll get one more
hit. Dropping frames.
Yeah.
Gets the last hit there. Man. He was... I don't know. To not use that blue potion, you must have been terrified that your opponent was like in the Ganon fight with you. But that just shows his. It's either an indication of desperation or the other way. It's an indication of confidence.
I guess Tairr may have seen that his opponent finished, so he decided to do something silly with that chest.
Yeah, he sure did. The players are welcome to do whatever they wish with that chest, and despite what chat says, it will not affect your standings in the tournament.
That's right. See the bug net equipped. I like to see that.
Yep, he knows now that he's lost. One of the only bits of information you get from your opponent in Randomizer is when they are done. So he sees the dot done, and he knows he is able to do whatever he wants here in this Aghanim fight.
Yeah, just a few minutes away from the end of the run. Might as well have a little fun. I believe these guys were planning on doing their second match immediately after the first one.
That's right. So this is, you could make some kind of argument that having some fun here at the end is a way of shaking off the loss and getting ready for this next match that's coming right up. But that is the plan. The bracket stage is best 2 out of 3. Doesn't feel good to get to the bracket stage and then get eliminated because someone checked something and you didn't, and that was it, you know. So to alleviate that sort of harsh randomness that the randomizer has, we have opted for best of 3. So Tairr has another chance here, and Eunos has to prove his worth once again. So yeah, they'll be doing that coming up right away. We're probably not going to do interviews, but this was 1 hour and 40x minutes, so won't blame the players if they want just a short break. Rebounding off of Ganon into the fire bat. Weird, the bees he released on Ganon didn't refill his health the way a potion would have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that. I thought he definitely made the right call drinking the potion and catching the bee, but I guess that didn't quite
I'm gonna have to put that in my notes, maybe.
Bees don't refill health.
Yeah.
Underline.
Now he has no bees for the refight, so...
Oh no! He's gonna have to do bee-less Ganon. We'll see if he's familiar with this strategy.
Oh, dude.
He's gonna have a hard time avoiding those fire bats. So he took the one hit, and he could have taken his lumps and dashed away from the one hit. But he tried to use the invincibility frames on the hook shot, and fired it all the way across the room and all the way back. It wasn't quite enough time to avoid that last fire bat. So once more into the fight.
One more try. I think he'll get it this time. It looks like he's not even trying to dodge at some of these points.
I feel like it'd be pretty good in terms of feeling good going into the next race, to just wrap this up with like a super clean Ganon fight.
Yeah, this might actually put him on tilt, potentially, depending on his personality.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Everyone's different. Everyone reacts to things differently. There's some situations where I'm like, oh, he's gonna be a mess now, and then they get in the interview and they're like, after I saw that, I just laughed, and then I don't know, I was feeling good and things went great after that. So who knows? Who knows? But it's fun to speculate.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that'll wrap it up. Just making sure he's dead with those last few arrows.
Yep. Because you don't want him to revive in the next game.
Yeah, that would be terrible. No pun intended.
Here with a 149.25 on the clock, throwing a silver arrow at the Triforce, trying to destroy it. Perhaps too much power for any one man, even Link. He's just the only one good enough to give up that power for what is right. Nope, just kidding. He is going to take it. It's all his now. Link becomes God. The end.
That's the alternate timeline, I think.
Yeah, that's the fourth timeline. Is
Right.
when Link becomes a god, and it, with ultimate power, ultimate corruption. It's a whole thing. So, like we said, second match coming up, best of 3, advantage Eunos. If Tairr wins this next one, they are not going to go into a third match tonight. There will be a third match. They'll schedule it later. But we don't know. So wait and see. I'm pretty sure we're also going to be switching up commentary. So at this point, I will say I am Mythical 9. Thank you so much for joining me and joining me in the booth. Super. I say Scooge whenever I see your name, but it's probably Scudge.
I think both pronunciations are acceptable. Personally, I say Scudge, but Scooge is totally fine.
Well, then I will say Scudge.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Super Scudge, for joining me on commentary.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not sure who's coming in next. Has that been figured out already?
I just assumed that someone would. And okay. Things out loud. But I promise you, there will be commentary. I think probably Cruel.
Okay.
Is going to be in here, but you will have commentary for sure, and then the commentary thing will get updated, and it'll be great. So, congrats to Eunos, and good luck to both players in their next match.
All right, that about wraps it up. I don't have anything else to add, so I guess I'll see you guys later.
Bye.